I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign.
Amidst the collapse of a major company's image, one name continues to shine unwaveringly. A name born not of strategy or manipulation, but of countless sincerity and love. That name is Taehyung. A man with a warm voice and an even warmer heart. As HYBE began to reel from the storm of image, from criticism coming from all directions, the public slowly shifted its attention. Not to who had fallen, but to who remained standing despite the ground crumbling beneath them. And all eyes turned to the figure who never lost his light, Kim Taehyung. He wasn't shaped by those now beginning to lose the public's trust. He had been shaping himself long before the first stage, long before the first camera rolled. He was the result of struggle, of patience, of wounds he never showed but always transformed into beauty. HYBE's great name could be eroded by time, by mistakes they ignored, by decisions that disappointed too many. But Taehyung's name could not fade. Because he wasn't attached to a label, he was attached to the heart. And the heart cannot be manipulated. In a world increasingly thirsty for sensation, Taehyung offers a respite. He is a respite from the hustle and bustle. A respite from falsehood. A respite from a system that too often forgets that behind the idols, there are humans. He is a reminder that tenderness can still survive amidst the violence of the world. As the world watched HYBE's reputation begin to crumble, the public found beauty in the ruins. A flower growing amidst the rubble, calm, gentle, and still blooming. And that flower is Taehyung, who, even when abandoned, embraced everyone with love. He never asked for his name to be immortalized. He never cried out to be remembered. But precisely because of that, he is engraved. Not in the media, not merely in headlines, but in the hearts of those who have felt the warmth of his voice, his smile, and his presence. Taehyung doesn't need a grand stage to prove his worth. Because he has become a home for many lost hearts. He is a voice that embraces, a hug that heals, a hope when many are on the verge of giving up. When all great things start to fall, people look for something genuine. Something unadulterated. And that's where Taehyung is the answer. He's not an agency creation, he's the product of the love he gives and receives, without even the need to sell an image. Time will pass. Labels will come and go. Scandals will change. But not all names will remain. What remains are those who make a difference. And Taehyung has made a difference so deep that it's hard to erase, even with time itself. He's become a story retold not because of controversy, but because of kindness. He's become an inspiration not because of image building, but because of authenticity. And from there, he's carved out a place no one can replace, in hearts, not just on screen. HYBE could fall, could be replaced by a new generation, could lose ground because of wrong choices. But Taehyung has freed himself from that dependence. He flies on wings he's made himself. Wings of struggle, of art, of love. He is proof that an artist's strength lies not in who they are, but in who they truly are. And the public now sees him for who he is, not through the lens of a camera, but through a mirror shaped by loyalty and understanding. When the world forgets what labels say, people will still remember how they felt when they heard Taehyung sing. They will still remember how his songs accompanied the hardest nights, how his smile saved so many from emptiness. He didn't just sing. He healed. He didn't just perform. He was present. And with every presence, a trace is left behind. A trace that forms a path for many who don't know where to go, until they find him. HYBE could have lost its way. But Taehyung found his way long ago. A path that doesn't need a map or a strategy. A path guided by conscience, by empathy, by the belief that sincerity will always triumph. And now, he no longer stands in anyone's shadow. He is the light itself. Not a blinding light, but a warm, guiding, touching light. She is a small beacon in a world that often goes out. The world knows her not because of publicity, but because of connection. A connection between voice and soul, between pain and healing, between serenity and hope. And that connection cannot be bought, cannot be controlled, cannot be erased. Big names can be forgotten. But not names that make people feel like they're coming home. And Taehyung has become a home for many hearts too tired to keep fighting. He gave hugs without asking. He gave space unconditionally. He will live on in collective memory, in works, in stories passed down from one heart to another. He will continue to be the reason someone chooses to remain kind, even when the world is unfair. He will continue to be an example of strong tenderness. Taehyung doesn't need to step on anyone to rise. Instead, he lifts others up with him. He proves that success doesn't have to be painful. He teaches that being kind isn't a weakness, it's a strength rarely chosen. When all the spotlight is gone, Taehyung continues to shine. Because his light doesn't come from without, but from within. And the light that comes from within cannot be extinguished, even by the largest system. He will continue to grow. Not in the frenzy of popularity, but in serenity. In music that continues to evolve. In honest work. And in the hearts he guards, one by one, without realizing how many he has saved. HYBE may grow old, falter, and be replaced. But Taehyung's name will always be young in the eyes of the world. Because he is not a trend. He is not a product. He is a living feeling. And that feeling forever resides in a place beyond the reach of statistics. Careers may wane, the spotlight may shift, the market may change. But genuine love will continue to find its way. And that love will continue to flow to Taehyung, not because it is commanded, but because it is worthy. And if one day everything changes, if all that is now high returns to normal, one name will still be mentioned, with tones of reverence and emotion. A name that has soothed, healed, and become home. That name is Taehyung. Few have touched the world the way Taehyung touched it. He didn't come with burning ambition, but with quiet sincerity. He didn't ask the world to love him, but that's precisely why the world fell in love. Love that isn't demanded grows most genuinely. Taehyung didn't just carve his name on posters or awards. He carved his name in people's hearts, in the small memories when someone felt less alone because they heard his voice, or understood just by his one smile that appeared without a word. He was a beauty that didn't scream. He was a strength that didn't explode. And precisely because of that, he became a balance amidst the madness of a fast-paced industry. He was a reminder that there was no need to run to reach the deepest place in another's heart. The world saw how he was treated. The world saw how the system could fail even someone as valuable as him. But what the world didn't expect was how he chose to remain gentle. He didn't retaliate with violence. He chose love. HYBE could deny responsibility, could turn a blind eye, could deflect the issue. But they couldn't close the hearts of the public who had witnessed Taehyung for who he truly was. And one by one, those voices of trust shifted. Not to the logo, but to the person. A person who persevered without stepping on anyone. Who proved his worth not through words, but through perseverance. Who didn't complain, even when the world felt too heavy to bear. Taehyung is the definition of resilience that's never announced, but always felt. Every time he appears in public, it's not just his visuals that impress. There's an aura of peace that's hard to describe, as if he brings serenity to a room filled with scrutiny and expectation. He exists not just as a celebrity, but as a reminder that we can all still choose to be good. He's an example without being patronizing. He's an inspiration who doesn't think he's better. He lives in a way that makes people want to be the best versions of themselves. And that's the purest legacy anyone in this world can leave. When generations change, when trends shift, there will be one name that will remain in heartfelt whispers, Taehyung. Because he's proof that true light never goes out. He may be underestimated by the system, but revered by the universe. The entertainment world will continue to turn. Many rise, many fall. But those who remain are those who have touched it. And Taehyung has touched too many hearts to be forgotten. He's not a temporary star. He's a constellation. He exists not to be perfect, but to be real. And in a world full of fakes, her presence was a gift. She didn't try to be extraordinary, she simply tried to be honest. And from that honesty, a respect that can't be bought was born. Now, the public isn't waiting for clarification from the label. They aren't expecting management. They simply look at Taehyung and say to themselves, "We see you. We believe in you. And we're here, not because of who promoted you, but because of who you are." For every hurt he received from the system's neglect, he repaid with undiminished love. He remained present for his fans, continued making music, continued greeting them with a smile. And it was precisely from that attitude that he grew into a legend. A legend not because of fabricated heroic tales, but because of the courage to remain gentle, to remain kind, to continue making music, when the world told him to stop. Because of this, he is remembered not only for his achievements, but for his feelings. And that feeling continues to spread. From one heart to another. From one country to another. From one language to another. Taehyung's name has become a universal language of hope, sincerity, and a strength that doesn't burn, but heals.
I'm losing it, the noose it fits, I'm losing shit, a stupid myth. You choose to live or choose to dip, you choose to fight or lose your grip and lose a gift.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please Lord give me a sign, a sign.